Hello, hello. How is everyone today? Happy Friday. Hello, Daro. It's nice to see you again. I hope you had a wonderful week. It's been so nice and sunny lately. It's just been amazing. I've just felt, you know, this winter I've not felt too bad. I feel like most winters I get a bit, you know, seasonal sadness and whatever, but this winter it was like, okay. But now that the sun's out, I just feel like there's nothing I can't do. I just feel healed. I feel amazing. I hope the sun's been out for everyone else as well, because it's just been so miserable and rainy in the UK since the year started, so it's just really nice to have just a little bit of vitamin D. Just a little bit. That vitamin D be hitting. Yes! Hello, Sketta. How is everyone today? I hope you're all doing well. Let me get into it. Let me get right into it. Da, 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 da. Here we are. We're back on our grind set. Every D&D character I've ever played, even if it was only for one session. And look how full! Look how full it is, guys! It's like... oh! She's so colourful. We're getting there. We're actually getting there. This feels like... this project has been going on for so long. And I'm really glad to see it finally start to come together. I still don't know what the background is going to be looking like, but... Hello, Dark Shadow. Hello, hello. How are you today? I hope you guys have had, I say good week, but it's good 2 weeks, because I was very naughty and I cancelled my stream last week. I'm very sorry about that, everyone. You know how it is. It was the only day people could play D&D. Some sacrifices have to be made, unfortunately. But I'll tell you all about that that session, because we had... well, it was a big combat. It was a big combat. I'm alright, tired. Yeah, fair enough. Been a long week of work, has it, Dark Shadow? Only one session during those 2 weeks. LOL, DM was sick. Oh, that's such a bummer. But at least you got one. At least you got one. Some of these folks out here, they be struggling. You had 2 sessions during the 2 weeks? Oh my god, yay! Me too! Yeah, work's been up my ass. Oh my god. Oh, I hate having a proper job. I hate having a proper job. And that's why I just draw blowbows for a living. I do feel... just... yeah, full-time work ain't the one, really. I'm excited to hear about you guys' sessions. Sadly, they've been filler episodes and half of the group never showed up. DM wasn't happy. Oh my god. That's so rude. We have a rule that if one of us can't make it, then we still play. But if more than one of us can't make it, then we don't play. Which... ugh, half the people not showing up, that it's rough. But I do love a filler episode. I do have to say. I love the silly fillers. We've had one player who's only been to 1 session and has missed 3 sessions since. Ugh. I guess it's good that you guys aren't waiting around for them though. Because otherwise, you know, sometimes you just gotta leave. You just gotta leave them behind, unfortunately. Otherwise you guys wouldn't be playing, you know. It does feel rough when people don't show up. Especially if you're putting so much time and effort and like energy and, you know, just putting yourself into D&D and then other people can't be bothered. But had a session to finish our arena side quest and was very lucrative and fun for the DM. Oh, exciting! Hello Waffles, it's lovely to see you. How have you been over the past 2 weeks? Okay, so yes, back to my blowers. Oof. I'm still so excited that this is all, it's slowly filling out. But today we are finishing off Meralistre, and I don't think it'll take that long to do, to be honest. So we'll probably get to see who we're drawing next. And a little bit of background about Meryl. Meralistre is, she is a level 15, I think, level 14 or level 15 Echo Knight fighter, the only fighter I've ever played, and honestly best subclass of fighter. Echo Knight fucks so hard, it's so good. It's just so much fun, and she has this big huge glaive that she swings around, and she can attack so many times in a turn from herself or her echo, and she's an absolute beast. Ugh, I love her so much. And Meralistre is Auntie Lullarola's canon in-game daughter. Auntie Lullarola and 4 other hags, known as the Crones of Cinder Marsh. I can talk a bit about them. Meryl herself doesn't really have that much going on. She was only a one-shot character, although she did come back for a second one-shot, which is really fun. And I haven't seen her since, and it's real sad. I really want to see her again. She's just such a beast. And I really enjoyed playing her because she's quite, I don't know, she's quite, she's a little bit robotic. I think it's the best way of putting it. She's quite mellow, quite low energy, a bit sort of like resting bitch face as a person, which is just not what I usually play. So it's really fun to play her. I made new characters and absolutely can't stop drawing them. I have been alright, thank you. Oh, that's wonderful to hear, Waffles. I've been very busy myself drawing my little blobos. I've been super into... I've been really super into drawing fluff the past couple of days. Just drawing my characters being happy and smooching and just being real cute. And it's not something I usually go for when I'm drawing my characters. I usually like to draw them in very angsty, sad situations, covered in blood, all of that sort of thing. But the past few days I've been very, very into the fluff. And I know exactly why that is, and I'll share a bit later, I think. Just want to get through all our updates. In the 2 sessions, Reese attempted to die, to kill. Reese attempted to die unalive, rolled a nat 1, nearly got killed by some gang members, shot up the guy who nearly killed him, got arrested, got let out, got put into a pit fight. Oh my god, Reese. Not this. Reese is such a little troublemaker. I am slightly obsessed with him. Going from 234 gold to a total of 8,140 gold, which could have been more, but Arena Fighters forfeited the last fight. Ah, money. You know, our last campaign, we were so filthy rich, because we, as part of the main plot, we found a pirate island, secret pirate island, and it had literally millions of gold on it. So we took as much gold as we could physically carry in our bags of holding, and we were so rich for the rest of the campaign. We could buy literally anything we wanted, and it was amazing. And now money is so hard to come by. We just recently finished a bank heist, but we haven't been paid for the bank heist yet, so... and the bank heist did not go that well, unfortunately. And that's why we had a big combat. But, you know, It's all good. No one died. No one died, and that's all you can really ask for. We just had a lot of people almost die, and a pretty big juicy reveal about Brannigan, which is fun. Although it wasn't a fun reveal, it was actually a very, very sad reveal. A lot happened. He just wanted to sit at the docks and get high, and just gets thrown into the sea where he can't swim. One of the characters is a fish hybrid, and she saved him, so they're both hunted down the guy. Oh my gosh, Reese! Why is Reese getting bullied? Poor thing. Gosh, the actual portraits are so teeny tiny. When I zoom in all the way, they get so fuzzy. Just want to add a little bit of shine. Little eyelashes in. That session was made of 2 arena fights. There were 2v2s, and the fun part of those was basically PvP. First fight, me and the other player played DM made characters, and the last fight was characters we made for the arena fight, so we did a little bit of min-maxing as a challenge. Oh, that's so fun! I do love an arena fight. You know, interestingly enough, like a little arena fight free-for-all PvP, like where all of the party fight each other just to see who's the strongest, they always stress me out so bad. I don't know why. Especially when they're like not even, you know, when there's no stakes. It's so funny. And then on the other hand, when I was playing as Sane Mirin as a werebat, I was so eager for that PvP. I was like, yeah, let me just fight all of the party at once. They're not gonna kill me. It's fine. But no, playing a free-for-all that doesn't even matter is too stressful for me. What's extra funny is the last time we did it, I think my character actually won, which, like, what have I got to be stressed about? Come on. Two of the players during the pit fight, and the group betted on them. One won and the other nearly won against an ogre, but Arthur, the guy that hired us, killed said ogre by exploding his head off. Oh gosh. I suppose exploding a guy's head is probably against the rules of pit fighting, I'd imagine. Slightly move my mic. You guys can hear me all right? Probably can. Love her high pony. They're all so pretty. But she's got so many twigs in her hair. I realised that Meralistre actually has quite a lot of similarities to my girl Sene Mirin, now that I think about it. For slightly different reasons, but they're both extremely sheltered people. Although Meryl is a bit more sheltered than Sene. Meryl hadn't even met a man before she left home, because all of her hag mothers are ladies. There are just no men around, so she was quite confused by that whole thing. Oh my gosh. So the player won by default since no one knew what happened and the ogre was dead. That's fun. Love a little bit of cheating. My character Shiva during those fights was betting on the team and trying to sell the Berserker's axe that was signed by our fighter. Basically had to 1v2 the first fight. Ooh. That's fun. My druid got knocked out by the two of us during the first round of combat. Oh, that's so interesting. The one time that I actually won the a PvP arena fight was with a druid. I don't really get on with druids, so I've said that before. I'm not very good at playing them. Druids and bards just can't get behind, really. Love the teeth necklace. Thank you. These are actually all of Meryl's hag mother's teeth. They I need to recolor them actually, so they are made of iron, because hag teeth are made of iron. Fun fact. Yeah, she has one tooth from every one of her hag mothers, so they can keep an eye on her while she is roaming around the country, basically doing their shopping for them. You know, sometimes hags need some very particular ingredients or magical items or whatever, and Meryl eventually was old enough to be sent out into the world to go collect them for her mothers. But they have to keep an eye on her, of course. They put a lot of time into this girl, you know? Raised her from a little sapling into a person, and eventually she'll be a hag. She needs some wildly experience for sure. Oh, wrong there. Some chainmail on. I was given an assassin rogue, so I dealt 26 damage with one attack on my first turn, and the berserker barbarian finished the job. Hell yeah! Ugh, I've not played many rogues either. I do quite like a rogue. I find that a stealth archer build is more fun in a video game than it is in D&D. Because I feel like in D&D it's kind of, I don't know, you just kind of end up doing the same thing every turn. Not to disparage your characters or anything, it's just my personal feelings about such things. I think I'm just quite picky. Combat's not my favourite thing to do at the best of times, really, so I have to make sure I have something very, very creative to do every combat, really. Which is why, oh my gosh, Wizard is so much fun. And Paladin was a lot of fun because I was just doing a beefy amount of damage. So this is the first time the rest of the team learned that Shiva, they knew as a rogue, now has the ability to heal. Was allowed to help our druid after the first PvP fight. Used all my resources and cast Cure Wounds 5 times at just 2 levels in Warlock. Oh my gosh. Just your boot. But Warlocks only have 2 spell slots. What? How is this possible? I'm so confused. Ooh. Yeah. Well, speaking of combat and fighting and things going wrong, in the past 2 weeks, had 2 sessions of D&D, and those 2 sessions were our heist. Hello, Shaq. Hello. I was just about to talk about the heist. How is everyone? How are you? How are you, Jack? How's your Friday been? I'm drawing Meryl, not the heist. It actually was okay. We didn't fail at our objective, which is good. It's been so busy. Oof. Yeah, Dark Shadow's been absolutely run ragged at work as well. But I had a Chinese takeaway for dinner, so I made up for it. Ugh. Yum. I had like a pot noodle thing. Pot noodle thing. Yeah, so the heist. Gosh, where to start? So last time I updated you all on my campaign, we discovered that our lovely friend, our lovely NPC friend William, was actually a prince. You know, after Senno had hooked up with him. Which, you know, super fun. Super fun vibes. We continued with that exact conversation. We continued with the conversation, and Senno then also discovered that William had been trained as an inquisitor, and he was an inquisitor for a little while, which she did not take kindly to, because these inquisitors are basically the anti-magic police, and they have been at war with Senno's home, the Vale, for over 100 years, and she has some trauma related to that. So, you know, that was great. That was a good time. What can I say? She wasn't best pleased. She said, "Ugh, I need a bath," and ran off. And then William was sort of just left there like, eesh. Great start. And then we went on a heist, literally like straight after that. So William's only friend in the party isn't really a fan of him anymore. Tough break for that guy, honestly. So then we went on the heist, and the object of the heist was to not steal any money, actually, but it was to steal some documents, because there's a diplomat from the Empire that has been making some rather suspiciously large donations recently, and our patron was like, "Hey, steal the bank records so we know where he's getting this money from." Really fair. So that's what we were breaking into the bank to steal. Not even anything like not even anything super valuable or anything like that, just information. So we climb up onto the bank, all in our little balaclavas. We look amazing, I'm sure. We break in through the skylight. It's a proper heist. Everyone goes in. We have to disable some lasers in a... We had to disable some lasers in a corridor, and Eva did like a stealth takedown of a guard, and then we got into this main hall, and there was a big dragon statue with diamond eyes. Shouldn't you all have stole something valuable to hide the fact you stole something else? Well, I mean, the diamond eyes and the dragon were fake. and the vaults were all like super well guarded, obviously. So I don't think we had the time. Ooh, I have cure wounds because of a magic initiate, druid from background, so 1 free cast, 2 spell slots, a minute to regain a spell slot, a rod of pact keeper allows me to regain 1 spell slot. Oh my gosh, Dara, you really have this shit on lock. We joked about if the group had Pokemon, Reese would have a muck or a trash. Not a muck. Oh my gosh. No, so no, I see it. See it. I love it. Only one thing worse than a bank is a cheap bank. Yeah, for real. So yeah, we did all this stealth breakdown, stealth takedown stuff. We got into this hall with the dragon with the fake diamond eyes. I was really hoping they'd be real, just in case one of us died. I could use them for Revivify, but no, it's fine. And then, like, this hole also had a bunch of lasers all over it. So we ended up, we had a big talk about how many rats it would take to turn off a bunch of lasers, you know, as you do. How many rats would I need to summon in my pockets to turn off the lasers? Eventually just turned Senimirin invisible, and she did her Mission Impossible shit through the lasers. And it was pretty impressive, but no one could see it. And then she turned off the lasers, ran upstairs, grabbed the documents that we needed, and in that time, Brannigan got really antsy about the fact that his bestie was taking too long finding these bloody documents, and he was like, "Wow, we gotta go give us some backup. We gotta go help. Like, come on, guys." And so he ran across the room, not invisible, but still very sneaky. And then another one of our characters, Quinlan, he did the same thing, and he was fine. He's literally a rogue, so invisible to the naked eye. And then our lovely druid, one of our lovely druids, Grimhilda, decided that she wanted to come along as well, and she turned into a little pink rat, and she started scuttling across the floor, and of course she was spotted immediately. And the guard was like, "Oh, rat, oh, you'll be great to feed to my dog, come here." Popped her in his pocket. She managed to get out of the pocket, she managed to wiggle her way out. And he was like, "Oh no, come back." Stomped on her tail to try and stop her from running. This rat that he thought, you know, he thought it was a rat. And he dealt 1 damage to this rat, and it forced her out of wild shape. And then he discovered that the rat was a girl. And then shit just immediately started to hit the fan. The group knocked him out with a sleep dart, essentially, and they were trying to drag him back to this room where we'd been storing all the bodies of the people that we'd knocked out so far, but were caught halfway through because of the rogue's quiff that was sticking out of his balaclava. And then combat started, and a bunch of guards came running in, and apparently the person who had given us our intel, this really slay lizard folk woman, had actually betrayed us and actually sold our information back to the bank. So they knew we were coming. So really, is it the rat's fault? I'm not sure, because they kind of already knew that we'd be there. But at the same time, maybe they wouldn't have known that we were there at that second. So then, of course, combat starts, and things are just like sort of immediately bad. Quinlan the rogue, Quinlan the stealth archer, tries to shoot the guard captain, the security guard captain, who immediately throws Brannigan in the line of fire. And stealth archers, man, they do a lot of damage. Bran goes down immediately, which is a great way to start combat. And then, you know, it was quite long and grueling. 6 rounds, but we have quite a lot of people, so it goes by really slow. Crazy that all of that took place over 36 seconds though. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some highlights. we had a little rave. We had a little disco because one of the guards tried to set the lasers back on and like turn on the alarm, and Grimhilda smashed the control panel and it exploded, and it caused all the lasers to go crazy and start hitting everyone. Senno turned into a werebat again, and Bran was knocked down again, and we all discovered that he has had a glamour this whole time. Oh, he had a glamour this whole freaking time, and I knew it from the beginning. And what was the glamour hiding? Something really sad. He's just absolutely covered in scars, and it's really sad. Just layers and layers of them. Which, like, of course the sort of, you know, bardish archetype is like the saddest guy out of everyone. But basically every single person in the room saw all of these scars as his glamour dropped when he fell unconscious, except for Senno, who was his best friend, because she was too far away. She was on the back of the dragon. She had run back into the hall and leapt onto the back of this dragon statue, and she had been hanging out there basically the whole time, dropping fireballs from above. She turned into a werebat, you know, classic wizard stuff, really staying out of the line of fire. So she was too far away to see it, but everyone else saw. Just like, oh, you know, pretty rough stuff. You know, I think most people went down at least once during that fight. Bran went down twice, and then our rogue Quinlan almost got like full killed as well, which is great fun. You know, it was all alright. We escaped with the documents. We killed literally everyone in that bank, well, in that room. Didn't kill everyone in the bank, but we had to. It feels bad because they're just doing their jobs, but like they were trying to kill us because we were witches, so what can you do? And then we escaped, and our other druid, Sylvanas, did a little fiery teleport into an alley and scared the pants off of some goblins. And I'm sure that that's not going to have any consequences in a place where fire is forbidden. Fire and magic is forbidden. I'm sure that's going to be totally fine. So our characters have been hiding out of town for a couple of days, and we're gonna pop back in once those days are over, really. So yeah, super fun and nice, and yeah. I actually discovered the story behind the scars, Bran's scars, because Senno had promised him that she would tell him the story, like her backstory, and she did, and it was all off screen. They had this huge big chat, a really super emotional chat, all out of game, because it was just a two-person conversation, and it was going to take a long time, so we decided that it'd be better not to do it in front of everyone, because it would just clog up the game and everything like that. Do you guys do stuff like that? Do you guys ever do little bits of roleplay outside of the session, like one-on-one? I don't do it very often, but man, that shit was so emotional. discovered all this backstory, and Sano told her backstory, but I still can't say it because the rest of the party don't know. I would love to tell you guys everything, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer until everyone knows, unfortunately. Not sure what more I can add to Meryl. She's kind of you know, she's kind of drab, but that's sort of the point. She's always been a sort of drab girly. I think if I add some purple into her shadows, then might give her a little bit more. Made me happy because actually I'm able to do some healing before actually getting into Celestial Warlock multiclass. Ooh, that's so fun. Yay! I always forget about Celestial Warlock until you mention it, Dara. And then every single time I'm like, oh, Celestial Warlock would be so cool. I just never think about it. I have to go pick my mother up from the pub. I'll hopefully be back soon. Okay, Jack. Fetch your mother. Don't say anything big without me, JK. Okay, I'll try not to. I don't know what else there is to say, really. Other than the fact that Bran and Senna had a kiss. They shared a kiss. And no one will ever believe me, because no one was there to witness that. But I did draw it, if you guys want to see. It was just a friendly kiss. They just kissed as friends. And it was really cute. Get these scars back in. Our next session's gonna be a while, sadly. A lot of the players in the group are making it fun. Our next session's going to be a while, sadly. A lot of the players in the group aren't making it fun and are really trying to force Reese out of character, but I will not buckle. My boy will always be grumpy and smelly. Yes! Don't let them take your boy from you, Dark Shadow. I always called you Shadowheart then. I'm playing a lot of VG3 recently. Yes, but yes, absolutely. I think it's really rough when the other players sort of have, I don't know, preconceptions about who your character should be and what they should do, or they just like don't seem to like the way that you're playing your character. Trying to think of an example. I don't really have any good examples from my own characters, but I know that Brannigan initially wasn't like super well received by the party, like in game, and it was really tricky. And I don't particularly know why they all chose to pick on him. I don't know, he was just sort of like a bit of a jokester, a bit of a prankster, and the rest of the party were a bit more like serious, so they just, I don't know, they just took an issue. And it wasn't very fun for the player, because it, you know, it feels like bullying, and especially when like they won't let up. And it's also really tough because it's like, oh, so you hate my character, so you hate me, all of this. And it's just like, yeah, it's pretty tough, but eventually the Dungeon Master got involved and was like, hey guys, cut it out. and you know, it's a bit like oof, but cut it out and it's all good. It's all good now. Thankfully. I love Bran. He's a really fun character. So it would have been a real shame if he ended up getting retired or anything like that, or had to massively change just because the other characters are being nasty boots. Trying to get my boy to gamble at a casino when he blatantly says he doesn't gamble. So they played You Won't Bet on Your Teammates, be a supportive member of this group. Recently Ender's like, no, why would I support people I've known for a day and a half? No, real, absolutely. It's more like, what do they get out of forcing Reese to gamble? You know? They can all place bets. I don't know why Reese has to place a bet. Like, nothing is ruined if he doesn't place one. That's so strange. I also do find it so fun, the I don't know, the dynamics of groups forming like right at the beginning of campaigns, because there's always so much time between every session. It's really hard to keep in mind that sometimes you've only known these people in game for literally 2 days at most. I had that a lot in the last campaign, where we had people. I know that Sapphire and Goza, my boy and his romance partner, they got together canonically in game in like 3 weeks. And it felt like so much longer. Like those 3 weeks took months and months to get to, so it felt really earned. But thinking about it like in the timeline in game, those boys really just rushed into it. They just threw themselves into it head first. But I think you always end up sort of having stuff like that, unless you do the old doing lots of downtime and or taking longer in the long rests, which I think is a really cool way of doing it, is having long rests take like a long time, like a week or a few days, versus, you know, like short rests would be like multiple hours and long rests would be multiple days. I just think that's a really cool way of doing things. But yeah, like Reese grew up with his dad telling him to never gamble, as then he'll get involved with people like him in a bad way, and that stuck with him and he's never gambled. Yeah, absolutely. Don't stay strong, Dark Shadow. You are 100% in the right. They don't nothing is lost from Reese not gambling. I don't and it makes it more interesting if he doesn't, you know, get the whole like, oh, this is a line that I will not cross. You know, why are you trying to make him abandon all his morals and cross his boundaries immediately? What the hell? Let a guy live. There's going to be a lot of fun things revealed from Merca. The rest of the party will know about the wings, depending on my roles. Some may learn about his new thing he does to relax. Ooh! Exciting! Hee hee! I'm very excited for a lot of Senno's reveals. I think I can wait a bit longer now that Bran knows, thankfully, because it's really hard to hold it in. It's really hard to hold it in, but I do feel like it has been earned at this point. It feels unearned, it feels too soon, but at the same time, I realized that in the last campaign, we were already halfway through, and everyone already knew everything about each other at that point. Where is this campaign? No one knows shit about anyone. Least of all Sano. But it would be nice. It would be nice to get that out there eventually. If people ask. Let me see how Meryl's looking compared to everyone else. She's looking pretty okay. I think Meryl is looking... I think she matches. I think she matches. And since she matches, I think that means it's time to spin the wheel. Here's a lot of lines you won't cross LMAO. Currently the fun thing is one of the players has their character crush on Reese, which I find funny as they haven't known each other long and it's all just going over Reese's head. Yeah, why are you forming a crush on someone after one day? Like, chill. He wrote a sketchbook, and aside from taking notes, he tries to adore Dahlia, his first love interest from when he was a small catfolk. But with my rolls of 3 and 5, he's not happy with his art. Oh, a baby. Right, okay. Let's spin the wheel. Let's see who we get. Oh. Clarabelle. Oh. Oh my gosh, I only got 3 more after this. Okay, so Clarabelle is this lovely lady right here. And she was probably one of the most popular characters for people to draw during Art Fight, and for good reason. She's really pretty. Clarabelle is a noblewoman, and she's actually the wife of the heir to the throne. Well, he was the heir to the throne, and then he wasn't. Basically, she is part of a Civil War historical campaign, just filled with political intrigue. It's set in the Empire, and it's a war of succession, basically. Because there are 2 princes, and they're twins. So, you know, by default, the heir was the very slightly older twin, whose name is Valaris, and but unfortunately, he ended up disgracing himself, and the title of heir was taken away from him and given to his twin brother Villikir. Villikir is who Clarabelle is married to. Her lovely, lovely husband. He is so handsome. Hang on. I've got to get him. Let me get up their whole family, actually. So, this is the family tree. Well, this unit. There's a whole bigger family tree that I've done. So this is Clarabelle, and she's so pretty. And this is her husband, Villikir, who was heir to the throne as well. But then he also disgraced himself and had it taken away. And these are their 3 children, Olwen, Colossus, and Carlisle. So Olwen and Carlisle are actually played by other players. So 2 of the other players are my children. And then I have an NPC husband and another NPC son. And I love them so much. I adore all of them. So basically, the whole thing that kicks off this civil war is the fact that the Empress dies. And that is what happened in the first session, the Empress died and left no heir because both of the brothers had been disgraced and they had both been denied the chance to be emperor. Back again. Hi, Waffles. Oh, I've just dropped my pen. I found it. Yeah, so so the Empress dies. Let me get the whole family tree, because this is like a lot. Oh, I love them. So here's the whole family tree, courtesy of me. So here, this side of the family is who we're rooting for. This was the Empress. She dies at the beginning of the campaign. It's a mini campaign. The twins, Valaris and Villicare, were both named heir, and then both of them had the title of heir taken away from them because they disgraced themselves. We have this lovely birthday party for the twins. We have this big birthday party, and there's the hope that she will finally decide who will be the heir to the throne. This boy down here, I've forgotten his name. I've forgotten his name. He's hoping that the Empress will just bypass his father and give it straight to him. But we're hoping that, you know, one of the twins will be given the title. But what actually happens is that Clarabelle, my girl, and this woman here, who I believe her name is Sharia. No, Claria, even. Claria Shanog, that's why. Clarabelle and Claria end up having a massive argument. Absolutely, it's brutal, it's bitchy, it's insane. They come storming into the banquet hall, and the Empress, who has a infamous temper, she gets so angry that she has a heart attack and dies. And with her dying breath, she's like, none of you are fit to rule. Sort it out your fucking selves. And thus begins a war. Clarabelle started a war. But it's really not her fault. This Claria woman is horrible. She's absolutely horrible. Clarabelle is part of a noble line known as the Vedina family line, and they are a family of very powerful sorcerers, and they are most gifted with divination. And they have a very strong moon motif. They are an absolutely gorgeous family, and Clarabelle is no exception. She went to the same magic school, so she was part of the high society, so she went to the fancy magic school along with the twin princes, and the three of them were very, very close friends, really, really good friends. Everyone thought that she would end up with the older of the twins, Valaris, including Valaris himself. Both of the twins were head over heels for Clarabelle, and you know what? Fair. Absolutely. She's so pretty. And she's so lovely as well. She's just I'm back. What did I miss? Clarabelle! Yeah! I was just explaining how the war started, but I'll go into more detail because we'll talk about the one session that we had. This is Clarabelle in all her glory, by the way. So, yeah, so she and the twin princes, they grew up together. They were very, very close. They were both after her. They both had huge crushes on her as teenagers, but Clarabelle ultimately ended up falling in love with Villiquer. And honestly, who wouldn't? Like, come on, man. He's so handsome. And they both are. I mean, they're twins. They're identical twins, but like, come on. He was just a bit more free-spirited, I guess, a little bit more rebellious. And she just, you know, a bit more of a bad boy, I think. And Clarabelle liked that. So the two of them got married, and they, you know, they live in a castle, a beautiful castle called Hyria, and it's absolutely lovely. And, you know, they're very happy. They had their first two children, and Clarabelle has always been quite sickly throughout her life. I never really decided on like, it's not like an explicit illness, but she's always been quite sickly. I think it's like something like brittle bone disease or something like that. She's just quite delicate. And so she had her first two children, and she really struggled with both of those. And then she had her youngest son, Carlisle, who is also known as the Lunar Prince, because he's a special little Vidina lad, and he's just super moon themed, and he's adorable. And she was really, really sick after that, really frail. Eventually her older two children were sent away to ward, and she was absolutely devastated about that, because she's a very doting mother. She absolutely loves her children with every fiber of her being. It's all she's always just wanted her family to stay together. And you know, she was devastated. And then they were about to have their fourth child, and trigger warning for anyone who has issues with you know, pregnancy related loss, child death, everything like that. I'm not going to go into much detail or anything, but she ended up being cursed while she was pregnant with her fourth child, and the child was born like super corrupted and weird, and it unfortunately did not survive. And this also made Clarabelle very, very deeply sick. And it was very, very sad, and she took it very, very hard. And she also blamed Claria for this, because Claria had lost one of her own children, because Clarabelle's oldest daughter, Olwen, is said to have pushed her cousin into the lake, and her baby cousin was eaten by a crocodile, or so everyone thinks. There was this whole huge fight between the brothers, between the two families, about whether or not Olwen had pushed this little boy. His name was Proteus. You know, he was eaten by a crocodile, and it's really what started the family feud more than anything. Because Clarabelle and Villequier were like, our daughter would not do that. She would not push this little boy to his death. And even if she did push him, she obviously didn't think he would get eaten by a crocodile. You know, she obviously, it wasn't murder. She was a child. But you know, Claria was not really taking it. She didn't really accept that. And the two sides of the family fell out. So when Clarabelle's fourth child was born, very lizard-like, you know, it seemed like Claria had cursed her on purpose, and so that wedge was driven even further. It was pretty rough, and Clarabelle was very, very sick again, and her young son, Carlisle, her youngest son, ended up caring for her and basically doing like regent duties for his mother, because there was a war going on, a different war, and his father was away. His older siblings were away to ward, and it was just him and his mother, so he was just like an 8-year-old boy doing regent work and taking care of his mother, along with the servants, of course. You know, noble family. Had plenty of people. But, you know, he and his mother are very, very close, and he never really formed much of a relationship with his father, which is very sad. And yes, and then there was more sort of pregnancy and child loss-related troubles with Clarabelle. She was very unwell for a long time. She had a lot of mental strain and all of this. Very, very sad, actually. But she is doing much better now. All of that is behind her. She's been much better for... it was this sort of, these last two pregnancies that ended up with her having to walk with a cane. So she needs a cane to walk because her pelvis was just completely shattered. Pretty rough, you know. That sort of thing is pretty brutal. And yeah, but she's doing much better now. You love to see it. She's walking around with her cane, and she's, I don't know, she's just thriving now. And she and her husband have never been more in love, and it's just lovely and nice and wonderful. And then they go to this birthday party for the princes, for the twin princes, and lo and behold, Claria is there, and Claria is just being a massive bitch. She just will not let this whole pushing her son thing go, you know. She just won't let it go. Honestly, like, get over it, girl. Just kidding, but yeah, she's still just going on and on about it. The girls are fighting. It's pretty rough. And I don't even know what the initial argument really begins with. I think it's just Claria has it in her head that Clarabelle is actually faking the fact that she needs to walk with cane, and just the fact that, like, all of the sickness and everything that she's been through, all of the heartache, is either just a ploy for attention and for sympathy from the court, or or it's deserved, basically, because of what happened to her son, and the fact that he was eaten by a crocodile. And Clarabelle isn't really about that. She doesn't really like what that's implying. So she, you know, she gives Claria a piece of her mind, and in the process accidentally reveals that she does in fact know that Olwyn did actually push this little boy into the river, and she's known the whole time. Because her daughter did confess that she did it, and then promptly forgot about it because she was literally like 6 years old when it happened. So all this time, Clarabelle has been keeping this from everyone. She's known the whole time, and like the whole thing was basically like, oh, just admit that your daughter pushed our son. Just admit it. And Clarabelle, the way that everyone was treating her daughter for what they had thought that she had done, she couldn't stand it. She could not accept that for her daughter. She couldn't go and in her good conscience tell everyone the truth, knowing that they already had pegged her as a murderer and they were already treating her like such shit just based off of suspicions when she was literally a child. So for her own daughter's sake, she kept it to herself, and she was the only person who knew. Even her husband did not know, which is brutal. And they had their little argument in a sort of break room, in like a smoking room, I guess. It ended with Clarabelle casting silence on Claria to get her to shut the fuck up. She was just so sick of hearing the sound of Claria's voice, and she walked out. But Claria followed her into the dining room where everyone was having dinner, and started accusing her of faking her limp, faking the fact that she needed to walk with a cane, and literally snatched the cane out of her hands and threw it on the floor, screaming in absolute hysterics about the fact that Clarabelle has known the whole time that her daughter pushed Claria's son into the river. And everyone just sees this hysterical woman throw a disabled woman on the ground, and obviously that does not go down well. Everyone's up in arms. The Empress stands up. She starts screaming at the top of her lungs, and then she has a heart attack and dies. She tells, with her last breaths, she says that no one is worthy. You bitches need to stop fighting, or you need to fight and actually like properly duke it out. Settle us amongst yourselves. And so she dies, and there is no heir, and thus begins a war. And it's all over you know, it's all over children. It's all over secrets and children, and this really bitchy argument between two girls, between two lovely women. And yeah, it's pretty rough because obviously the two of them, Claria and Clarabelle, have both been through a lot. And it's really the sort of time that they should be supporting each other and helping each other, but they didn't. Well, Claria didn't. Clarabelle tried her best. She was very, she tried to be there. She tried to give her condolences and her aid and whatever she could, other than telling the truth, of course. But Claria didn't want to hear it. completely just sort of shunned her, and their relationship never really recovered. And then, of course, Clarabelle going through all of this heartache with her own children. And Claria just sort of had the perception that Clarabelle deserved it, and that's just not really on, is it? So it's pretty rough. But super, super dramatic, really fun to play out, and we've actually not played any more sessions since that first one. It's sort of a mini campaign, all of the Civil War stuff, and we just played the first session between the ending of our last campaign and the beginning of this one. So Clarabelle is actually like the most recent character I've played, other than Senna Mirren, and she's one of my favorites. She's just absolutely lovely. She's just really, really sweet, and her relationship with the other players as well is just really, really nice. I think playing the mother to other players is just really fun. Color Slaying, go Moon King. Yeah, they're really cute. So I think it's just really fun. It's really cool to all play as one family. You get all the different family dynamics and stuff. I think it's really fun. So yeah, and Clarabelle is not really too focused on divination like the rest of her family, or healing or anything like that. Her niche is dreams. She spent a lot of time bedridden. She spent a lot of time asleep. And while she was, she really sort of invented her own niche of magic. She really pushed the boundaries of what one could do with dreams and magic. And for a while after the whole curse situation went down, she actually started tormenting Claria with nightmares. She started sending nightmares Claria's way, just as a bit of petty revenge. You know, if someone's mean to her children, or if, you know, if someone's not really Clarabelle's cup of tea, she'll make sure to send them a sleep paralysis demon, which I just think is so funny. Clarabelle is really the epitome of do no harm but take no shit, I think is the best way to describe her. She will never punch first, but she will end the fight decisively. Such as with the argument she was having where she just cast a silence on Claria. Just shut up, Claria. So yeah, it's very fun. I'm not super into political intrigue usually, but I am more into the whole, all of the different relationships everyone has. Let me think. I think that's basically it about Clarabelle for now. I'm quite excited to play her again. I think it'd be really fun. Oh, she's a blade singer wizard as well, actually. Perhaps I should say. So she's actually the first wizard that I played, because I did play her just before I played Senna. And basically her cane, it's a bit, it's like segmented. and it becomes a rapier or a whip. I'm not sure if I decided, but yeah. And then she sort of floats off the ground, very Elden Ring style. She's really cool. She's my only Blade Singer wizard. I just thought it was so cool. She just floats in the air with this magical cane. She's just so cool, and she's so pretty, and I love her. And she and her husband are very much like they're still a bit like teenagers in love in a lot of ways, and I don't think they would have minded if the title of heir had gone to his brother. It's just a case of like knowing, you know. Shiver is definitely a character that I want to play again next time as a full Celestial Warlock. Hell yeah! That's a thing I've really enjoyed about this series, is just sort of coming back to all of these characters that I've played just once or twice, and that I'm absolutely desperate to play again, or like not realizing how much I wanted to play them until I've come back to revisit them. To kind of just forget about the one-offs. Ugh, Clarabelle's so pretty. I get her lovely hair in, I think. She's so gorgeous. Eyelashes. Are you guys into sort of political type campaigns? Or are you guys more into the... What sort of campaigns are you guys into? What's the vibe? Because like I said, I'm not super into the political side of things. I just don't really get it, I guess. It's really hard to keep up with. I'm not very good at the whole social aspect of it. Because I'm more of a fan of the sort of gritty, low-level, the little people. You know, I like to be the sweaty nerds on the in the gutters. You know, I like to be in the underbelly of a city. I like to be a rapscallion over being a noble. Oh, I actually got out of Merca a little paranoid by drawing, scared his party mates to and laugh. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. I love to think about how good my characters would be at drawing. I think it's so fun because Zafir was a proper artist, so you know he was canonically very good at drawing. But I feel like Senno would not be. I feel like Senno's probably, you know, stick figures at best. I think it's fun. I'd actually love to try and draw in the styles that I think everyone, like all my characters would draw in. Senna's is bad. Senna's, I just know she's bad. I love political campaigns. Like, give me all the socialization and steps to take over the country. I like the idea of taking over the country. I like the idea of starting a rebellion or something like that. But like all of these like noble houses and everything like that. Like, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here. Here. I like a heist. I like criminal dealings. Ugh. I'm excited to continue on with this one though. Her little sleeves in. No, wait, I want to do her hair. No, wait, I want to do her sleeves. Let's do her hair. Let's do her hair because her hair is so pretty. Because it's basically half black, half white. But the black is a very, very bluish black. It's basically blue. And she's just so pretty. White hair is also something that she gained from being so deeply unwell. But I think it makes her look so fierce. It basically just made her go grey like super duper early. But I think she wears it so well. I just can't resist giving my characters a little bit of white hair. I can't resist giving my characters white hair in general, and I really can't resist giving them just like a bit, just like a little bit of white hair. Just gives them a little bit of spice, you know? My gosh, my throat is like so dry. I did just drink water. You don't need to tell me to drink water. I'm fine, you guys, it's fine. Get gosh, I'm really out of things to say. Like, for real. I feel like I've seriously given all of my updates. I've seriously given all of the Clarabelle story. I feel like I have. Maybe I'm forgetting something. But I do think that's the case. Yeah. Do you guys ever give your characters hobbies? And if so, what hobby does your character have? They have a secret hobby. I like when various characters have like a little craft hobby. 2 campaigns in a row, the paladins have had a knack for jewelry making. Because Zafir made jewelry in the last campaign, and our current paladin Eva also makes jewelry. So now it's starting to seem like that's a requirement for being a paladin. Although I suppose Aramis didn't. He didn't make jewelry. He did acquire jewelry though. I think it's the warding bond rings, you know. It's just necessary. I think it's just nice though, because it gives your character something to give someone else. It's a really easy way of showing different characters how you feel about them, I guess. Now that I think about it, I don't think Senna has a creative hobby. Her hobby is magic. She's just obsessed with magic. She also likes to collect bugs. Which is a habit that she developed from childhood. She's always been a big fan of bugs, collecting bugs, just in jars. She gave them all names, and sometimes she would take them around her house, like carry them around. I think it would probably really annoy her mother, actually. It'd be a sort of that bug back, or bugs belong outside sort of vibe. No bugs at the dinner table. I just have to think of little stuff like that. It also just makes it so devastating to think of your characters when they're children. Just babies, really. Okay. Really enjoyed lately I've had like a new way of doing hair where I sort of give a light gradient around the face. Usually the skin tone of the person, and then I come back in with darker gradients like of the hair. And I just feel like it's really nice. I feel like it usually, I don't know, it gives a sort of subsurface scattering or like bounce light or whatever. I just think it's really nice. And it gives a lot of depth to the hair without me even having to really shade it, which is really nice as well. Before I go in with my rendering brush and everything. I think we'll have some politics in our games. The corrupt politician needs to be start type. Yeah! I feel like that's usually the case. Like in this political climate, a lot of these games end up being like, we need to remove the corrupt king or something, you know? Love a little Robin Hood type thing, you know? It's free, everyone. I have a feeling we might end up getting into some political stuff in this campaign. But it's also a very religious type thing going on as well. So maybe a whole separate church from state type thing going on. I don't know. I really don't know what the main story of our game is actually going to involve. All I know is it involves some dwarf lore. It's about the land of the dwarves, and that is all I know. We've not actually found our main plot, I don't think. If there's a world-ending plot, we've not found it yet. We're just a bunch of idiots roaming around performing heists for petty cash. which is fun. I really enjoy that type of game. Out of everyone that I played, Shiver and Merca got to be my favorites. A rogue that wants to heal and doesn't steal, and an ex-criminal trying to be a good paladin. Oh, that's so cute. Little redemption sort of thing. I love that. I love a good subversion of expectations. I do love, I am quite fond of a corrupt paladin though, I have to say. I just feel like paladins are just so good at the whole, I don't know, right and wrong and oaths, and there's just so much you can do with a paladin. I just love them. I just love them so much. And I don't know. I feel like I don't really subvert expectations with my characters that much, to be honest. My concepts are usually quite, I don't know. Lately my concepts have been pretty chill, I guess. I just find that it's the very simple ones that end up becoming the favorites, at least of the party. So for instance, my girl Bree, her whole concept was just like, oh, what if you got to retirement age, you did the whole like settling down and homemaking thing, and then you just decided one day that you wanted to be an adventurer just because you were feeling FOMO from all your kids having a great time being an adventurer. And that's how she ended up becoming an adventurer, and she's just so sweet. Everyone really loved her so much. And it's really cute. Sano's whole storyline was born just from, well, she was originally a goblin, and she just wanted to learn magic. That's her whole thing. Her whole thing is that she just wants to learn magic and she can't. So she's just, yeah, magic's everything to her. She's just a very passionate girl. She's got dreams, god damn it, she wants to follow them. And everyone is getting in her way, and it's quite pesky, really. was quite interesting, especially coming from a character like Zafir that had such a tragic backstory. Such a complicated and tragic backstory that was mostly sort of about him regaining all of his lost memories and everything, going to a character like Sene Mirin, who her problems are not as, I don't know. She wasn't kept underground as a zombie slave for 100 years or anything like that. She's just sort of, she's just never really fit in. And in a lot of ways it's much sadder. I'm happy because I made a music playlist for Merca, and soon after the rest of the party followed and made their own, save them for my obsession of getting art of my characters that inspired one of the players to pick up her pen. Recently she did tarot cards of her characters. Oh, that's so fun! I love assigning tarot cards to our characters. I'm not very good at tarot, so you know, I'm not the best at deciding who would be who. I do really love it. It's really fun to figure out who would be what tarot card. Ooh, one thing I did do that inspired the rest of the party is I made a personalized character sheet for my character Zafir, and I made it on Canva. So it's all decorated to suit him. And that inspired most other people in the group to make their own personalized tarot cards. No, not tarot cards. Character sheets. And they all look amazing and it's so cute. So you have a lot of different everyone's got like super personalized character sheets that they made themselves from like Canva and stuff, and it's just so cute. I think that's a really fun thing to do, actually, especially if you are playing your character for a really long time, and also especially if you don't want to use D&D Beyond or anything like that, because fuck D&D Beyond. Marco got assigned strength, and I have to agree on that. Ah! Oh my gosh, Senna was also assigned strength. Yay! Marco and Senna were twins. Love to see it. I think strength is a really interesting one, because obviously when you assign your tarot cards to your characters, do you do just the basic meaning, or do you also take into account the reversed as well? Because I also take into account the reversed meaning, and that's what really sealed the deal for strength for Senna. Because she's actually secretly very, very insecure. Because of course she is. She's so deeply overconfident. And she's so happy to take risks, you know? And she's so over the top with how much more useful she is than everyone else in the party. You know she's faking it till she makes it. No one's really that arrogant. Unless they are. The little... The fun thing about Clarabelle's clothes, and the Empire in general, is that they wear a lot of silks and satins, so their clothes are very shiny. I'm such a big fan of outfit designs. I talk about this all the time. I just love costume designs so much and outfit designs. So it's always so interesting to me, the different materials available in different countries and different climates and all that. So the fact that everyone in the Empire wears a lot of silk and satin and things like that, and then in other places you've got like leather armor and, you know, I don't know, I think Bree's wearing some like thick cotton. I know the Bornaudians wear a lot of sheepskin to keep themselves dry. Reverse strength would probably work for Merky. He finds value in himself by being the target so his allies don't get hurt. Only he does. Ugh. Classic. Classic paladin maneuver. Be so deeply, deeply self-sacrificial. I love it. Oh, I miss playing paladin. I'll get there. My boy will come back one day. My self-sacrificial boy. Get the little... She's kind of got like little pleats in the front, but not really. I do find it fun, just to be a bit of a risk taker. I like to be the person who touches the evil cursed thing every time. But last campaign, it was mostly because my self-sacrificial paladin was very much like, oh, if there's going to be an evil curse thing, I will touch it so no one else gets hurt, you know, sort of thing. Whereas this campaign, my girly pop, she's always touching cursed things because she's very impulsive, and she likes to push her luck. She believes that she is more lucky than most people, and so she kind of just expects to get away with stuff that she shouldn't necessarily. But of course, she's very special. She's so pretty. I love the shiny. just clean that up. Okay. We have almost 10 minutes left of stream. So, let me see. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oh my gosh! It's coming together. Oh my gosh, Clara's hair. I just love her. I think I need to... She actually wears quite a pale gold. Because her naval house is very sort of bluish and purplish and silverish. So I just want to kind of... It's very white gold, it's very pale gold. Only 3 left! I know. Then I'm gonna have to start thinking about how we're setting this all up together. I know that these 4 down here, they have something... They're gonna have something quite interesting going on. Let me grab the sketches up. So if you can see, just tucked in behind, they have some places that are like related to them in their stained glass windows. You don't really have the room for it in any of the other bits, but for Athos, he's got like Fey vineyards, because he's, you know, well, I'll talk more about that when it's his turn. Godred has the broken down ruins of the city of Honorune, where he fought his mummy, and it was very, you know, this huge, massive city that was basically completely empty, and they destroyed most of it. So, Sea of Ashes, broken down ruins of Honorune. Maybe I might put a big tree in the back. We'll see how much room I have, but one of the biggest things that Godred ever did was create a huge tree where his bear friend died after a big combat. He casted plant growth, and the residual magic in the area just like turned out to 11, and this huge tree grew, and like loads of trees and plants and everything grew from this museum, and it was just flourishing with fruit and everything. So it'd be really cool to put that in there, because that was one of the main things he did. And maybe a dragon for Athos, because that's where his campaign ended. And then for Zafir, he has this super duper tall spindly tower, Babylon's Tower-esque thing, because there's just like something tells me that his story is not done yet, and he was given visions of this sort of Babylon's Tower where a bunch of gods ascended to godhood, and he was shown this tower in his visions, and he doesn't know what it means yet, but he knows it's important because his goddess showed it to him. So he's like, okay, well, I gotta find this tower. So I feel like that's... And got a bunch of stars and a moth, because those are his big motifs. And then Senno, I think she'll have... I only really had the moon in there, because I didn't really... When I sketched these out, not much was sort of shown off with Senno yet, but she's gonna have her magic. She might have some like a valley behind her because she's from the Vale, and the moon is very, very important because she is a werebat. So you know how it is. So yeah, these guys get special treatment because they're my campaign characters. They're actually in campaigns. These 3 girlies have like a little bit more going on because they're historical campaign girlies. All of these guys are characters that I put thought into, but I only played for one-shots. And these 2 girls at the top, on here, but I literally made them like the day I played them because they were just like randomly generated essentially. I just made them off the cuff, so they get to be at the top. There's not much going on with them, which is really funny. Like I really hope that we don't end with with this one because it'd be really anticlimactic. But yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see everything coming together. Cute. Would anyone like to see some of the things I've been working on this week? So I've been very busy. I've been very busy, but like I've just basically been doing a bunch of sketches and stuff. Yes. It's mostly just been a lot of fluff. It's mostly just been a lot of fluff because after the chat that Bran and Senna had, I've just been so like wrapped up in just like the characters like kissing and hugging and being adorable. Okay, so first of all, I just want to show off Dante again because he is so yummy. Here's my boy Dante. He's a new character. He doesn't go on here because he's not actually a D&D character. He's a BG3 character. His whole gimmick is that he is a Cambion that was summoned by the sorceress called Susan, and Susan's a massive bitch. Susan's a massive bitch, but I love her. And he and Susan have this like really weird fucked up relationship going on. Also got this one. He's so yummy, and he's a drunken monk. Basically, he's been summoned to the material plane and he hates it here. So he's really trying to become like the epitome of like a demon of debauchery. So he's just like, yeah, I love getting in fist fights and I love drinking. So he's a drunk monk and he just punches the shit out of everyone, and it's really good. It's really good and fun. I really can't wait to play a monk in my next character, hopefully in D&D. I also have Bran and Senna being so cute together. Oh my gosh, I'm actually really happy with this one. I think the lighting is really nice. The whole scene took place at night, and it was a new moon. It was a new moon, and they were only being lit by like the lights of the city nearby. And yeah, so this is like a sequence of events that happened basically immediately after Senna shared her backstory with Bran, and I can't say too much just in case other people from my party find out, but TLDR, she was really left out like her whole life. She's never really belonged anywhere, and Bran was just absolutely, I don't know. The end of the story was basically like she told this whole story about her life, and then she ended it by being like, dude, I just adore you, essentially, in her own way, and just telling him how special he is to her because he's the only person she's ever had that she's never needed to hide any secrets from. And by the end he was like crying, and he gave her a little kiss like a friend, you know, like friends do. A little kiss on the lips as friends, and like give her a little kiss on the forehead, and then they had like a big hug, and then yeah, you know it's serious that the glasses are off. Yeah. She took her glasses off to have a little like cuddle with him, and then they had like that little moment, and it's just so cute. And all of that, like all of this, they just did without a word. It was kind of just like, I don't know, it was just a really sweet moment where they were basically just like, man, I care about you so much, but without saying anything, because they're little freaks and they can't talk. They're really bad at talking. So yeah, and then I also want to play a monk for my next character. Funny that. I mean, yay, there's room for two. Another piece of fluff that I've been obsessed with. You see my boy here, Godred. I was talking about how much he loves being a dad. What if I died? What if I actually died? They're so cute. They're so cute. This is Godred over here and his son Moses. And he's so cute. He looks so happy. Yeah, he does. This is literally, I think, the only time I've ever drawn Godred smiling. Which is just, he's had it so rough. He's had it so rough. I spoke about him recently. Really, after his campaign ended, he was very, very lost. You know, he had literally no purpose. He was just like, I don't know, he was ready to call it a day. And then he met little baby Moses, and now his life is just so complete, and it's just so cute. It's just so cute. Yeah, and then my last thing that I did literally right before stream is another little smoochy smooch. I do some boys kissing. It's Zafir and Goza, because they never got to kiss in their finale. This is like immediately after the whole final fight went down and they got back together, but they never kissed. Basically, in the finale, I'll speak about this more probably when I'm drawing Goza. No, Goza and Saf. Basically, they broke up because Zaf crashed out. And he was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, there's too much going on. There's just too much going on. I can't be a good partner to you. Like, basically, he's just denying himself happiness because he's scared of being happy. Boo. And then Goza was like, okay, well, if I stay here, I know I'm gonna fold so quick. So he basically just moved out. He went to go stay at her hotel for a couple of days, and in that time Zafir went to the holy city of his goddess and was like, oh yeah, let me just become champion real quick. And Goza got kidnapped by the BBEG. Great fun. So they spent about a week apart, maybe 2 weeks, broken up, and in that time Zafir became the champion of Nazazil, and he got the sick as fuck armor. He also died, and so the next time these two saw each other, Zaf had a black eye. He had all these tattoos growing up into his eye, and his eye had turned black, and he had this cool armor on, and Goza in the meantime was just getting absolutely destroyed, tortured by the BBEG, which is great fun. And they reunited, and they basically instantly got back together. They were just like, oh yeah, let's just forget about all of this, it's fine. But it did occur to me at the time how different Zaf would be to Goza. Like, it's just been a week and so much has changed about him. But yeah, they're real cute, and they had their little smoochy smooch, and Goza's been absolutely ragged about, and yeah. Boo, I hate how happy they are. Okay, they look together. They're just so, ugh. Hello, your art is so pretty. Thank you so much, Buttercups. Welcome to the stream. I'm literally just about to log off. I'm so sorry, but hey, you know, stick around and watch from the beginning. It'd be so cool if you did. So yeah, I think that's basically. Let's look at these boys actually. While I say my goodbyes. My little wallpaper, my boys. It looks so good. Ah! Yee! So yeah, oh my gosh. Hang on, I'm gonna bring this back up. So yes, we have just half of Clarabelle and 3 more characters to go. Hopefully, I don't think Clarabelle will take too long at the beginning of next stream, so we're coming down to it. We're coming down to it. It's all gonna come together. Yeah, I'm so excited. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's always so much fun to hang out with all of you. Thank you so much, Daro and Jack and Buttercups and Dark Shadow and everyone else who has popped in or has been lurking. It has been so much fun to hang out with you guys as always. Take care of yourselves, play some D&D, and I will see you all next week. Okay, bye everyone. Bye.